Bit of an unboxing video here for the HEMA HX2. For those of you that have followed the channel for a while probably know that I've had a HX1 for a while that actually stopped working on the variety trip. Just acquired this, heading up to the Wattigans, so thought I'd unbox this and get it set up. Quite a nice box. So you get in here some mounting instructions for the HX2, a quick start guide that looks like it's got about 40 pages, the HX2 unit itself, and then the mount and everything in behind it. So we'll get that out and have a look. So this mount is completely different to the HX1. The HX1 was sort of like a tray that the HX1 tablet sort of clicked into. This is more like one of those G-Shock mounts or something that you might see for your phone. Looks to have a bit of adjustment in it as well. So yeah, we'll check that out. And then yeah, you've got your charging cable there, which looks like it can detach. Yeah, so it's the standard USB cable that's interchangeable, which is a really good idea. So that's your SIG plug adapter for USB. Yeah, really good. Anyway, I'll probably get this set up today and start using it and do a bit more of a longer review down the track. So just turned it on straight out of the box. Looks like it takes probably longer than the HX1 to boot up. Okay, looks like we've got a bit of setup. Okay. We will register later. Okay, so on-road, off-road and adventure maps. Print maps. Interesting. Okay, not surprisingly, it's oh no, it's fairly charged. So one of the big differences with the HX2 over the HX1 is that the maps are vector rather than raster. So yeah, that basically means that they keep the resolution when you zoom in and zoom out. So it's going to be really interesting to check out. And yeah, as you saw there, I'm in Goulburn on my way up to the Wattigans, which is where I better get going. So what you're looking at there, guys, is me trying to use the HX2 for navigation, and I've got the Google Navigator running through my phone on the head unit there. This is obviously older footage back in the badge, and a little bit hard to tell maybe, but you can see that bend at the bottom of the screen on the in-car head unit. The HX2 is just frozen
on that location, and that typically what I found was happening when I was trying to use the HX2 for longer navigation. It would freeze up and simply stop working.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Once again, it's not communicating and not refreshing. It's just frozen. You can see the two map screens look nothing alike, and for this reason I haven't actually been using the HX2 ever for on-road navigation, because it simply doesn't work. Now I believe there may be a software update that might have fixed this. So just a few more clips here further demonstrating this isn't a once-off or a freak occurrence. It's fairly consistent. These were filmed on different days, different trips, different parts of the same trip. After it had been turned off and turned back on and rebooted, it would always navigate for a short period of time and then simply freeze up and cease to navigate. I do believe there's a software update out that has endeavoured to address this. How successful it's been, I'm not really sure. I haven't actually updated mine. I just haven't bothered to use the navigation mode at all. I use it as a second navigator in off-road mode in conjunction with my phone. So now what I wanted to show you here is the new mount, which is a big improvement over the HX1 mount. It's much more adjustable. It lets you move the screen. It's actually got more extension than I'm using there, so it lets you move the screen further into the cab, and because of that you don't need the shroud that the HX1 had. So as you can see, this is the HX2 on road navigate mode. I've set it to the same destination as this one. That is my phone, Google Maps navigation through Android Auto on my phone. As you can see, that one is tracking where the car is and how long we've got to go to our destination and what have you. The HX2 here was doing that initially, but yeah, I find that the HX2 only works for on-road navigation for really short journeys. It's like for long journeys it seems to run out of cache or something, or lose signal with the satellite or something, and it just basically stops working. You get random things on the screen like that, and it's not helpful. The HX1 didn't actually have this problem, so this is a new problem that has been created by the HX2. I'm not sure why. Just one of a few things that the HX1, in my opinion, did better than what the HX2 does. Yeah, as I said, you can see there our Google navigation is working fine. It's got phone signal, which it needs for initially finding the map, and it's managing to maintain satellite signal and tracking where we are and what we're doing. Yeah, I've no idea what the issue is with the HX2, and it doesn't have this problem in off-road mode. Like if I switch that to off-road mode now, I wouldn't be able to have the address in it because off-road mode doesn't work like that, but it would track where we are, no problem, on this road. So yeah, that's special. Anyway, just my observations on the HEMA HX2 compared to the HX1 compared to your phone. Thanks. Just to prove my point, you can see I've now got the HX1 in off-road mode, and it's tracking us perfectly fine. You can see the Google Navigator down here is actually navigating us to our destination, but the HX1 is traveling along perfectly fine. So it really is just that road navigation that seems to be an issue. So this is what's currently driving me nuts with the HEMA H2X, HX2 or whatever the hell the thing's called. You know, much like the HX1 that I had developed power issues, this one is developing those same issues. It's not yet 12 months old, maybe 9-10 months old, yeah, the battery's not getting anywhere near full charge. It just randomly shuts itself off, powers the screen down, and then boots itself back up. Yeah, not impressed. I'd say on the whole the HX1 was more reliable, but that when it died, it died. The power connector here is a much better design, but and look, for the first 6-7 months I've had no power issues. I've had other issues with this thing, but no power issues. Now I've got the camera on it, it's going to behave itself again. But that's the thing, you know, just when you come to rely on it, it's you know, stops working. Anyway, that's a little update there on the HX2. Hey guys, Jason here from Off the Beaten Path. Just filming a little bit of a wrap up to my HX2 video. As you can tell from that footage, that's footage I've collected from when I got the HX2, which was late 2022, on a few different trips through 2023, and possibly some of that was even this year, I think, in the 76 series. So I've had the HX2 now for a long time, over a year now, and prior to that I had the HX1. I really liked the HX1. The only thing with the HX1, and ultimately the reason I upgraded from the HX1 to the HX2 was the power cord plug-in on the side was not very firm, and when you're off-road and you're getting vibrations, ultimately that power cord jiggles a little bit, works the port loose, and then the HX1 stops working. You can send that back to HEMA, and for a fee they will fix that and send it back to you, which was on my list to do and I haven't done it yet. I may actually still do that, and I might even go back to using the HX1, because there's a lot that I like about the HX1 that isn't present in the HX2. Yeah, so that's that. So anyway, let's talk about the HX2. What are the issues that I've had with it? Okay, so as you've seen in the video, road navigation. You don't buy this thing for road navigation, but it's disappointing that it doesn't appear to work or work well. As I said in the video, I do believe there's been a software update, and possibly that's been addressed. I just haven't updated mine because it lives in my car. One thing that really drives me nuts, and this is a feature, is that the new HX2 is set up as a cloud-based device. So what that means is, one of the things I enjoyed with the HX1 was recording tracks as you drive them. So you would get a little coloured marker on your screen on your HX1 showing you, yes, you've done this track before, and it would stay there. With the HX2, you can record those tracks, and as soon as you stop recording, and when you're recording, it leaves a little snail trail on your map, so you can see, yes, we've done this track. As soon as you stop recording, it disappears off the screen. And from what I understand from chatting to the guys at HEMA at one of the four-wheel drive shows, that yeah, that's just how it works, and there is no way to make it stay on the screen because it's a cloud device, and that's just supposed to sync to your HEMA cloud. Now look, I've never registered mine to the HEMA cloud. My HX2 lives in my car. I don't take it out of my car and bring it into my house and connect it to my Wi-Fi and sync it to my HEMA cloud. I don't do that. Now maybe I'm a minority, but that just seems dumb to me. You've got this device that's designed to live in your car. Why are you taking it out of your car and bringing it into your house and syncing it to your cloud? And I don't know. I could be the minority here, but that's not something I do. That's not something I want to do. That's not something I'm going to do. So that really is a little bit of annoying to me. To me, the HX1 does that better because it's very simple. You record the tracks and they stay there on the screen. So when you come back and you come to an intersection, there's 4 tracks. You go, oh, I've done 3 of these. Was it that one? You can look on your screen and go, oh, yeah, that's the one I haven't done before. Let's go and do that one today. So that's something that the HX2 simply doesn't allow you to do. The power issues that I was just talking about, they were a real thing with the HX1. The connector wasn't brilliantly designed, and the mounting case for the HX1 kind of made it hard to plug the power cord in as well. It's like the people that designed the case and mount didn't talk to the people that designed the power cord plug. The power cord for the HX2 is a lot better. It is much better designed. However, as you saw, it still is prone to those same issues. I mean, you're in a four-wheel drive, you're going off-road. I wrap the cord around the mount to reduce tension on the cord because I learnt that with the HX1 that if you have the cord just hanging straight down and plugging into a USB, the weight of the cord pulling down contributes to deteriorating the port. So I actually wrap mine around the mount and then down to the USB port, or up as the case may be. But that's still become an issue for me. You've got to position the screen so it's almost resting, so that arm is almost resting on the dash. At least I did after 6 months or so. First 6 months, not an issue. To prevent wiggle in that port and power disconnections. The other thing to know about power is not all USB ports are created equal. And if you want the screen on a fairly bright setting, which if you've got a vehicle like a 76 series Land Cruiser with a very upright windscreen, you're going to want the brightness turned up so you can read it because a lot of light comes in through that windscreen. Some USB ports won't deliver enough power to actually charge the device while you're using it. So that's just something to be aware of as well. The last thing that's driven me a little bit nuts, but this is very fixable, is in its default setting, and unless I configured this, which is possible, user error is always a possibility, it doesn't show features like HUTs at particular zoom levels. Now you can, I've recently figured out, you can go into the settings and you can turn that on, but I don't know how I don't think I've been able to turn that on so it's on by default all the time when you turn it on. So I would know there's a HUT coming up and I'm looking on my HEMA and it's like, oh, it's not showing. So, that's a function of the new style of maps, which on the whole, the new style of maps are pretty good. So let me get into what I do like about this. The mount is a huge improvement over the original mount. You can tighten it up a lot better. The arm is a lot better. The suction onto the windscreen is a lot better, although I do think like some of the aftermarket GoPro mounts, if they'd used 2, that might have been good. You still have the issue where you get big changes in temperature, the suction cup lets go. That's going to happen with any suction device onto your glass. Glass moves when there's temperature changes. It's just what happens, and you get condensation and all those sorts of things. But the mount and the arm itself are much, much better designed. Really big improvement. The way the HX2 attaches is much better. The fact that you don't need the shroud is much better because I stopped using that because that used to vibrate like nothing else and drive me insane. The screen shroud on the HX1. The other thing that I really like about this is the vector maps. So vector maps rather than raster maps. Raster maps are a fixed resolution image, so as you zoom in, the image gets more and more blurry, which is what you would experience on the HX1. Raster or vector maps, which is what the HX2 have, they're defined mathematically, and as you zoom in, they rescale and the resolution is maintained, so it doesn't go blurry when you zoom in. The new HEMA maps look really pretty. As some others have commented, don't know about the full pastel color scheme. It looks pretty, but it makes it a little harder to read the older HEMA maps. Like I think the 2021 edition HEMA maps, the colors were more contrasting, so it was a little bit easier to read. The new ones are very pretty, but I'm not sure that they're easier to read than the older ones. Having said that, I really like the HEMA maps. I'm a big fan of them. And that's probably the biggest plus. Knowing what I know now, would I have bought a HX2? Honestly, probably not. I probably would have bought a tablet and run memory map on it and purchased the HEMA maps through the memory map um, store, which I have anyway. So for you guys that watch my videos regularly, you'll see the maps I put up at the start of the video, the trip video showing the trail. That's done on memory map on my PC. So I have the HEMA maps there as well, and I have paid for them there separately, as well as I have hard copies of the HEMA maps, and I have them on the HX2. So yeah, you could say I like the HEMA maps. So yeah, I probably would have adopted that setup in lieu of the HX2. The reason I went for the HX2 is I actually like the idea of a device that has a single function. Devices like smartphones trying to be all things to all people and do all things to everything invariably have issues and crashes, and if you're relying on Bluetooth, you can generally only connect one Bluetooth device at a time. So look, I'm not getting rid of the HX2. I'm going to persist with it, but I don't know that it's the best solution, and I think it could do with a processor upgrade or a memory upgrade or something. I think there's a HX3 coming, or a HX2 Plus that's come out recently. I doubt I'm going to upgrade to that. I'll stick with the HX2 for now. For the price, it's not bad value, but it does take a long time to boot up, and that power issue is really annoying because invariably you're on a rough track and the car's moving around, you're moving around, and all of a sudden you get this thing dinging and flashing in the periphery of your vision while you're trying to concentrate on the track that you're driving on. It's very distracting. I've gotten good at ignoring it. But yeah, look, that's probably the biggest issue. So there's been some improvements. There's been some changes from the HX1 that I'm not loving. On the whole, I think they've made the step forward, but the lack of track recording and staying on the screen was a big loss to me. The fact that it's designed to work on a cloud and you're supposed to take it out of your vehicle and bring it into your house and sync it with your HEMA cloud and stuff, I could be the minority here. I'm just not going to do that. Anyway, I will stop raving on. It's probably gotten longer than it needs to. I hope this has been useful and provided you some insights. And if you've got any questions, ask them down below. Thanks, guys.